Hello everyone, Reed back here with my Monster Hunter playthrough. Today we're going to be taking on the Rathalos. It's in the volcano, which is a little bit weird since usually it's in the deserted isle. But whatever. It's sort of the male counterpart to the Rathian, which we fought like 6 or 5 episodes ago, I don't know. A while ago. The one unique thing about it is it likes to fly around a lot more, and that's kind of it. It looks different. I don't know. They're similar but different in kind of subtle but hard to explain ways, I guess. Yeah, nothing new with that. Same armor set as before. Jinoka with the Nargos, which I haven't upgraded that at all. And we're getting right into it. It is up in 8, so I have to, weave my way around while I look for it, but the fight was pretty easy. A lot easier than I was kind of expecting. Also, you can really kind of see the age in this game with the fireballs and stuff. Excuse me. Just had some of those Hawaiian, Hawaiian barbecue chips. Damn, those things are good. But in any case, this is a volcano. It's kind of one of my least favorite areas, honestly. It's very hard to, navigate, almost, and there's a lot of really narrow places that monsters tend to gravitate to, and it's just not a lot of fun, honestly. It's not so bad with the Rathalos, but when you fight the Uragon, or, let's see here, Volvodon's a pretty bad one, and there's another one that I'm forgetting, but kind of just anything you fight here. Agnator's not very fun, in my opinion at least. But yeah, it's not the greatest time, if I do say so myself. And here we are. So alright, so that's Rathalos. I think it's the one monster that's been in Monster Hunter, in every single game. And pretty sure I'm gonna paintball because I don't know where it flies to in this, from here at least. I know when you fight it regularly, it usually goes around from 4 to 3 to 2 to 1, and maybe up to 7. But anyways, so that first move did where it sort of rears back and then shoots a fireball. That's easily its most dangerous move. Not so much in this fight specifically, but come later on when you fight it in, well, I guess it's high rank in this game, but in G rank and in Monster Hunter 3U, and kind of just any other time. I don't think it had it in second generation. Also, that tail whip is really annoying, but in second generation, I don't think it had that, or it didn't track. So it would do that, but it wouldn't kind of home in on you if it was targeting you, which I don't know if it does really again, or if I'm able to avoid it. If I see it, I'll point it out. But in 3U, that one fireball does a ton of damage. And I'm thinking that maybe this armor just has really good fire resistance, and so, I'm not taking as much damage as I would be, but it's still an annoying move. A lot of this thing's moves are pretty annoying. Especially that charge, it's really easy to avoid for the most part, but it just moves so far away half the time that you kind of have to, it's just kind of a pain in the ass. If you're using greatsword or something, you have to well, I guess greatsword is kind of an exception, but if you're using switch X, you have to run over to it, and then most likely it's either going to fly up or fly at you and go back the other way. It's very annoying. Other moves it has is can probably see most of them. Has a bite that's really ineffective. The tail, there you go. The tail whip. So there you see it kind of like turn towards me to shoot its fireball, and that's what I'm talking about. Has a tail whip, similar to Rathian's, but it doesn't have a backflip. It has that sort of like, when it does that like thing where it like pounds its claws on the ground, that's its like grab move where it'll like knock you over and you play the mini game to escape from it. It's pretty easy to avoid, and that's another unique thing about Rathalos and Rathian. Excuse me. Is that if you like stagger it in the air, it'll just fall down, and it kind of counts as like you tripped it. Which is kind of one of the finer points of fighting this thing, is trying to find that like balance where you haven't like staggered it on the ground and wait for it to fly up in the air to sort of make it fall down. And you know, it's not like, you know, the end all be all way to fight this thing, but it certainly helps to kind of get a handle on how to fight it. I don't know. It's I kind of just lost my train of thought there, but you know. Oh well. Most of the time, a lot of its moves are easy to avoid, but in Rage mode at least, they're really fast, so it doesn't leave much of an opening. Like that, there's a little bit of one, like 1 or 2 hits, assuming it doesn't target you afterwards, because if it targets you, you're probably going to get hit, which is not a big deal in low rank, but later on, that's a good deal of damage. And oddly enough, one of the safest spots is sort of like right in between its legs, towards the back of it, like right under its ass is right where you want to be. That makes the charge go over you. The same with the tail whip. I think the only thing that can really hit you is the sort of like cockback fireball that like tracks in on you. I think you might be too far back for that, but it has this move too where it flies up in the air, and the best thing to do usually is just to sort of get under its shadow. And there we go, I took its tail off as it was going to leave. So that leaves it in here for a little bit more. And then I get just jammed in by that thing. Also, what that like blue thing is, I didn't know this at the time, but, or well, I kind of didn't realize it. It's a skill called Gloves Off, and it increases your attack and defense, I think, after you've taken like 150 damage in short, like 60 seconds or something like that. So once you've taken a ton of damage at like really fast, it activates, and it's not a great skill, but it's kind of makes do until you get Challenger, which is similar to it, but instead of happening when you take a ton of damage, it happens when a monster goes into like Rage mode. So it's a lot easier to it's just a better skill, in my opinion. I mean, I'm sure there's a case to be made that Gloves Off is great, but any skill that kind of requires you to take a ton of damage beyond heroics to get a semi-significant boost to attack, it's really not worth it, in my opinion. And I don't remember how long it lasts. Maybe it lasts for a long time, so that's kind of worth, like, that's kind of a good thing. And that's my cooling wearing off, which I didn't realize at the time. But now this thing's out of stamina. And when it's out of stamina, it's a complete pushover. So when it does fireballs, it doesn't actually shoot fireballs. It just does a little pop of fire that can't hit you. And when it runs, it's a similar thing to Rathian, where it like falls down after a certain point. And whenever it flies up in the air like this, it'll just come right back down. And unfortunately, I forgot about that, so I get winded. But it's no big deal. Honestly, this is one of the easier versions of Rathalos. I think 3U is a pretty hard one. So you see there, it just does a little pump of fire. And that doesn't hurt, which is awesome. I think this is one of the easier ones for a version of versions of Rathalos. Despite all like newish moves, I'm it's still kind of a pushover, I guess. I don't know. One of the main things about that is how much damage it does, like just sort of overall. Like in Freedom Unite, the just getting like stepped on by it, it took out like chunks of your health, and not little like bits and pieces. That's kind of just like, oh, whatever. It took out like substantial chunks. Like you could die from getting stepped on enough, and it happened at least once or twice to me. It's infuriating. It's that sort of death where you're like, I did everything right, but I still lost. It's the one where you like sit it down and you're like, oh, I'm done with this for today. That was fun. But besides that, I mean, I don't remember much about Freedom Unite's moveset with this thing, but I remember it being annoying. The tail whip had a giant hitbox, and when I say giant, I mean like the size of its body box. Not so much outwards, but under it. Like it could be, the tail could go over you and still hit you, which I guess is true. A lot of things, but this was especially just some bullshit. And here I was gonna go for a sword unsheath attack, but excuse me, I forgot to hold R to pull it out. That would have helped, but it wasn't necessary. I still got more than enough damage in. Sorry. But yeah, you see there, like, I could easily roll under that, but if that went over me in Free Unite, it would have still hit. I don't know. It's... nah. And it sort of goes to show how far... sorry. How far the series has come since Free Unite. I mean, not to say that Free Unite was bad, but it's kind of a step back in a lot of ways, but also, I guess, sort of ahead of its time in terms of content. Or maybe it was, right where it needed to be. Because I think it came out around the time when games had a ton of content. And, I mean, not to, say that they don't now, but compare a game from 10 years ago to now, most likely you can play the game from 10 years ago for a lot longer to beat it than games are now, which is in some ways bad, but is, kind of also a good thing, which a lot of people don't realize. Like, I don't want to spend 50 hours sorry, doing menial things to kind of grind my way through a game. Oh man, throat just killing me right now. But I don't know. That's not really a discussion to pick up now. But that was Rathalos. Overall, semi-easy fight. I mean, it is village quests, so I can't really say like, oh man, oh, it was so easy. Totally wrecked that thing. The monster's a total joke, but I mean, we're getting down to the end of the village quests also. I think there's only one new monster in this set of them. And then there's just one more star of quests, which at the end of it is Jin Moren. Then have to go through the guild quests to get to high rank, which is kind of gonna suck, but I'm so sorry about that. At the same time, it's gonna be pretty easy, I think, at least. I mean, assuming I have, end game or end of low rank gear, it should go pretty easy. Anyways, thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video, and I hope you stick around to finish up the rest of the series, which I don't know when it's gonna end, but it should end soon. Maybe, I have no estimate on that. But anyways, thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed it.